Hey everybody, welcome to the program, WRSA Radio. I'm your host, G1. As always, I hope you're having a good week. We are back this week after a short break last week. I just could not get out a show. Apologies, but I will do better today. So, we got some important information to cover, so I just want to dive right into it. You no doubt are aware of the election the other day and the outcomes. Well, we're going to get into that on the show today because, well, I'm seeing a wide range of analysis and interpretation of the results of this election, and I think most of it is off base. Let me get into what I mean here. First off, let's discount everything that you see on the mainstream media. We know it's all hogwash anyway, so pay no attention to that. The left and the media carries the water for the left is kind of where I'm going with that. But the left are hyping this election up as if it's some kind of, bellwether high tide mark of MAGA or something like that. And, this is the end of everything Trump and so on and so on. It's a mandate. No, that is total and utter bullshit. Okay, that's nonsense. These people are whistling past the graveyard. But to be fair, the establishment conservatives are reading the tea leaves and drawing all the wrong conclusions as well. They are correct that this election does send a signal, but they're both wrong about what that signal is. Let me give you my take on it, see what you guys think about it. You can hit me up in the comments after the show and let me know. I will start with the overall results. I don't consider the results to be that interesting, honestly. For one, this is a very off-year election, okay? In my state, the only people on the ballot were two positions for the Public Service Commission, which is, I guess that's important in your state, but I don't think anybody really significantly cares about it. Unless it's just doing something extremely bad or wrong or what have you. And the only reason that those positions were on the state were because of a lawsuit that was put into place, kind of a nonsense thing. But anyway, the turnout for the election was minuscule. Okay, we had about 20% turnout of registered voters. And the majority of those were in the very leftist metro Atlanta area. So it's no surprise that the two Democrats won the seats. Although the Public Service Commission was fully dominated by the GOP before that, all the positions were GOP. And in fact, they still hold the controlling majority on that commission. So it was a push at best here. And I think that kind of situation was repeated across most of these elections. There were, in a few instances, results that were, flipped from GOP to Dem. But these were in very left-leaning states. The turnout was very low. And for the most part, just really no surprises to these results. A lot of these were county-level races, so bottom line in all this, I don't think it really meant that much. But I think it's a mistake to over-analyze it and inflate the outcomes into something that they are not, one way or the other. Now that, however, does not mean that we should completely ignore the results and just keep doing what we're doing. Now let's get to the two factions and their reactions. The left is gloating and kind of leaping for joy, mostly over putting that commie Zohan, whatever his name is, into the mayor's office in New York City. Me personally, I don't think it matters who is the mayor of New York City. Every so-called Republican they put into office there governs like a centrist that kind of leans left at best. They've not had a real person that I would call right-wing in there since Giuliani, and even he was kind of really a moderate, except on crime. He was more right-wing on crime, but So I don't really think in the grand scheme of things it means all that much. I think, in fact, it's going to be a complete disaster for New York City, which will serve as an example of how not to do things. The problem is that the very people who voted for that communist will leave the city, and they will likely move south and further screw up what we have going on down here. So other than that, I don't really think that that should be some victory to hang their hat on. But let's focus on the signal that the left thinks the election of Mondami means. The establishment left, I believe, is really not happy about this. They're very much aware that their party is a hollow corpse that MAGA and Trump beat to death over the last 8 years. And they've been keeping it animated with all kinds of vile necromancy, but it's a hollow shell, and they are keenly aware of what is happening right now. The far left, the most radical that put Mondami on the ticket, are a creature that is growing inside of that old hollowed-out shell of the DNC. There's a movement there, and there's still a lot of questions about who is going to lead it and kind of be the face of it, but it's there, and it's extremely radical, and it is extremely dangerous, and that is this growing threat that we've been facing. And yes, like it or not, people like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, they've been keeping that movement in check. We can say what we want to about them, but they have been trying to keep that movement down. They've had to play to some of its most demonic urges to keep it docile, but has now grown to the point that they can't keep it down. MAGA beating the fool out of the establishment left has created a vacuum, and into that vacuum has poured this evil. And we're going to be forced to deal with it sooner or later. Now, before you give in and flee, rest assured that to deal with that evil, we have on our side an array of gallant warriors who will stand and fight this evil. People like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Mark Levin. Yeah, I can hardly keep from laughing myself. I can hear you. I can hear you through the internet, and I just can't keep that joke going. So let's get into what the right has been doing the last few days. Well, we've been eating ourselves, because the takeaway from the establishment right from this election has been that now is the time that the right needs to be even more pro-Israel and more pro-globo homo. We're not supporting Israel enough. We're allowing younger voices in our ranks who question the whole greatest ally narrative, and those young popular voices need to be stamped out. And that we shouldn't be doing as much deportation and all of the things that Trump ran on and got elected on. We should back away from some of those. See, the establishment right sees what is happening to the left, and they are desperate to avoid that fate. They still believe that they are a viable creature. They are not. And they want to kill this young upstart movement before it really takes hold and gets going. All of this is in the wake of MAGA. But see, the real question is who's right here. I spent a while there telling you that the movement on the left is evil because it's a communist, or at least a socialist movement, and those movements are evil at their core. And the problem is that you might hear what I said and think, well, maybe the establishment right is correct, and we should stop listening to people like Tucker Carlson and Matt Walsh because they actually talk to Nick Fuentes, and Fuentes hangs out with Kanye West and says that Hitler had some admirable qualities. Maybe we shouldn't listen to that. Just stop right there, okay? The establishment right does not have your best interest in mind. All of that stuff is a distraction. Nothing they have done has preserved or conserved anything that made this country great. We are here in this condition, in this state today, because they are weak, worldly men and women who sold their souls for a seat at the table. They are even more vile than the evil on the left, because those people, the ones on the left, they honestly believe the lies and the falsehoods that they spout. They think they are doing the work of compassion and goodness because they've been deceived. The establishment right, they know the truth, and that still yet choose the path that they take anyway. They willingly play their role in the deception and the corruption. In their minds, well, it's a force that just can't be stopped, so we might as well get what we can get while we can get it. They are all, to varying degrees, evil, but the traitors are the most evil of all. And if those are the people that are telling you that you have to support something and have to like something and have to discount someone else and not listen to somebody and don't pay attention to this and don't follow, you might want to stop paying attention to that message. Start following your mind and your eyes and your ears and your faith. Do what it tells you to do. I've been somewhat amazed over the last few days at the messaging and the timing of the messaging that's been coming out of these people. See, there was this convention of sorts back over the weekend before the election, some kind of conservative, right-leaning, Jewish, pro-Israel convention. And Mark Levin and Lindsey Graham and Randy Fine and a few others, they got up on stage and they blathered on for hours about the rise of so-called anti-Semitism that's been coming out of the young right, And the takeaway from all this messaging was that there was a group of conservative commenters that must be squashed. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, a couple of others. They must be silenced because they dare to question the actions of Israel, the motivations of Israel, the motivations of Jewish people. Wanting to know why this so-called greatest ally seemingly does not act like an ally at all? Oh, that's anti-Semitism, and we must feel white people shame for even thinking about that topic. Since these commenters have not only thought the topic, but have spoken about it and had guests on their show promoting the topic, well, they got to be silenced. Because that's how you deal with movements in your party. You silence them. They think that they are better off than the left. They think that they are crushing this dissent in their ranks before it can grow into outright rebellion. But the problem for these establishment right in the GOP is that they have the same condition as the DNC. They are a hollow husk of an organization. Their primary constituency is aging out. More and more people are seeing that they are not representing them at all. More and more younger people with more energy and more questioning voices are recognizing that these people are the problem, not the solution. The GOP is also a zombie that died 5 years ago. That energy that is building on the right is a fury that is going to be unleashed upon the left, and it's yet to be seen what the outcome is going to be. I am convinced we are on the path to a showdown between existential good and evil, and at least for a time after that showdown happens, there will be calm and peace in the world. It remains to be seen if that peace will be because good triumphed over evil, or if because there's no one left to do any fighting. Now, I believe in the good and the right. I know that you guys do as well, and I'm confident that we will prevail. Now, that does not mean, as Stockdale tells us, that we can rest on that belief. We must be active. We must be dynamic. We must be in energy in motion, because the Lord helps those who help themselves. Now, that's all I got time for this week. Like and subscribe. Come see us over on Gab. Nice crew. And the new location of the mothership. And I'll see you on the next episode.